Hey everyone, I'm Michael Hall.
And I'm Robert Wolff, and you are watching Innovation Coffee. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Innovation Coffee. My name is Robert Wolff. Once again, where the Innovation Coffee, where the coffee is hot, the innovation is hotter, right, Gabe? My producer over here in the garage helping us out. So, this episode is actually a special episode. You may have known by the title. We're going to be going over the Embedded Vision Summit, which happened, I think it was last week. I was there. We have some folks on the call who will be joining us in just a moment, and I'm going to tell you who they are. We have Henrik Fladell, who is the Senior Marketing Director at Aleph Semiconductor. We have Stephen Su, Senior Product Manager at ARM, and we have Jack Lynn, Senior Segment Marketing Manager at ARM as well. So let me tell you what we have in store. And before I do that, I'm going to give you a little reminder here that if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to the ARM Software Developer YouTube channel. So what do we got going on? The Embedded Vision Summit was an amazing summit. It happened last week, and I'm going to give you some of the stuff that I have here from their website. So they had a total of 4 tracks, big expo floor. They had these kind of sectioned areas around the expo floor where people were giving talks. There was over 1,000 attendees. This is the 12th year they've been doing this, and during this process, they had 85 sessions, 80 exhibitors. The showroom floor was pretty packed and pretty awesome. And I have to mention, I think every single booth had some sort of ARM tech, which was pretty cool. So I was just kind of bouncing around there. Now, I did try to do something fun here, and I took a bunch of videos of the showroom floor. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start from the outside of the convention center. I'm going to call on my past self, and my past self is going to give us a tour of the showroom floor where we end up at the ARM booth. And then we have the folks at the ARM booth here on the call today who will be giving us some of the demos that were showcased there. So let me cue in Robert from the past. Are you there? Hello, hello. Oh, yes. Hello, hello. Hey, future Robert. Thank you very much. Here we are in Santa Clara at the beautiful Santa Clara Convention Center, getting ready to go in for day 2 of the Embedded Vision Summit. Welcome. We're going to start off by walking you through the showroom floor over to the ARM booth. We'll check out the ARM booth a little bit, see the different demos that are there, and then we'll walk around the showroom floor and explore some of the cool companies, partners, and technologies that are building on ARM here at the Embedded Vision Summit. So let's take a look. Well, yeah, so what do you get? We want to guess what happens next? I think past Robert walks in, so let's see what happens next. Thanks again, Robert. All right, so let's start off by walking in through the front doors here. And as I can see, you cannot yet, the entranceway is actually quite colorful. You have registration over here to my right. Nice welcome entrance archway there. And it looks like over here to, once again, my right, we have the schedule for the event and the different activities that are happening throughout the day. Now it looks like there's also a speaker check-in area right over here for anyone who has questions. And I think this is also more like a support area. Now let's look at the different exhibits that are going to be here at the event. Lots of exhibitors. One that stands out in particular, of course, ARM. And that is where we are going right now. Hello. Thank you very much. All right, so going into, I think my audio cut out there for a second. Going into the showroom floor, it's quite the open space. Lots of really cool booths that I'm seeing right now, and I'm going to turn around here so you can see them as well. behind me, we have front and center Edge Impulse. I think an amazing company. I've been hanging out with them quite a bit yesterday. Edge Impulse, if I back up here, you'll see Avnet right here. Another great company distributor of a lot of ARM tech. And let's just keep walking around here a little. Ooh, look at this big screen, multiple screens working together, very cool. But what is the goal right now? The goal is to get to the ARM booth. Mauser, Avnet, Plumer AI, Synopsys, as I said right here, Edge Impulse. And as we approach the best booth on the floor, we have ARM. So what I'm going to do now is, Robert, if you mind just taking over for a quick second while I prepare, we will look at what the ARM booth has to offer. Yeah, looks like you're having a lot more fun over there than me here right now with all of this construction going on right outside my garage door. If you can hear that, I'm sorry. Anyways, I think it's time to look around the ARM booth because I want to see what demos are there. All right. Thanks again, Robert. Here we are at the ARM booth. People are still getting set up as the event doesn't actually start for another 5 minutes or so, but you can see the floor space is quite clean and well organized. We have the nice ARM branding and, believe it or not, the ARM developer program and plenty of cool ARM developer trinkets here. Nice little sticker. This is a little NFC card. If you aren't already registered to the ARM developer program, scan that QR code right now. Right now. Pause the video, scan that QR code. Cool. And for those who are here on site, of course, we have our nice handy iPad here so people can sign up on site. Now, people are still getting set up, but we have the future is built on ARM and 3 demos that are just currently getting set up at this moment. We have this one, which will be up and running in just a sec, ARM IoT solution for smart vision. And we can maybe talk a little bit more about this later. We have the optimized AI model built for ARM virtual hardware AVH with Netspresso by Node AI, one of our amazing partners who took the time to, oh hey, it's me, who took the time to come hang out with us here and showcase their demo at the Embedded Vision Summit. And then we have, last but not least, the single chip AI ML pipeline on Cortex M55 Ethos U55 by Aleph Semiconductors. And another great demo, some pamphlets telling you a little bit more about Aleph Semiconductors, and of course the hardware itself that is being showcased. Oh, it's me again. All right, cool. So this is the ARM booth, and I'm actually pretty proud of how this is set up. Nice open layout, and I think that they did a great job. Very comfortable. People have been complimenting our carpet here. You know, not everyone has this nice, fluffy, comfortable carpet. People walk over here and they're like, "Oh, hey, your carpet's super comfortable." Anyways, there's the ARM booth. Now, I'll pass it back to you, Robert, and you can cue me in when it's time for a walkthrough of the showroom floor. Okay, cool. So we made it to the ARM booth. Thank you, Past Robert. Appreciate that. And I realized that, Past Robert was calling the company Aleph Semiconductors. It's actually Aleph Semiconductor. And I'm sure Henrik is gonna slap my hand a little bit when I bring him in. And it is time to bring them in. So let's bring Henrik in, Stephen, and Jack. Welcome to Innovation Coffee. How's everyone doing today?
Thank you, Robert. Doing great.
All right, good, cool. Cheers. Yeah, what do I have? I have my water. Cheers.
My coffee all ready to go.
Nice. I downed mine earlier today. But yeah, so, okay, we had some cool demos there. You were showing the Aleph Semiconductor one, Henrik. And then, of course, Jack and Steven were showing the one, I think the first one I showed. And we will start with you, Henrik. But before we dive into your demo, I would like you to first start off with an origin story. So who are you? What do you do? And then maybe give us kind of like a bird's eye view of what Aleph Semiconductor is and what they do.
Sure, no problems at all. So my name is Henrik Flodell. I'm with Aleph Semiconductor. I've been working at Aleph since I think it was June 2019 when I joined. And before that, I've been at a lot of other semiconductor suppliers. Spent some time working for Renesas, spent some time working for Atmel, also NXP before that. And I also spent quite a few years on the software side of embedded controllers and those kind of devices, doing compilers and development tools for a company called IAR Systems based in Sweden, where I also grew up. I've been in the Bay Area since 2009. So what is it, about 14 years now. And yeah, I think technology fascinates me, and it's, doing the kind of things that I get to do is really fun, because when you are a supplier of this type of hardware, you get to talk to a lot of customers about things that they are about to do. So you kind of, get a little sneak peek of, what is to come in this field, which is awesome. Aleph as a company, like I said, they got started in the same year that I joined, a bit earlier in 2019. So we are kind of a rare thing these days, a young company in the semiconductor field. But everybody that is working for Aleph has been doing this for many years. We have several hundreds of years of aggregated MCU experience. And we kind of saw an opportunity in the market to be able to deliver some controller devices that have a much higher level of functional integration than what is available from the kind of established legacy type suppliers. So really excited to be able to join you guys at EVS and show some of the latest and greatest demos that we had on hand.
Awesome. Thank you for the introduction. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Aleph Semiconductor, you can go learn more on their website. It's alephsemi.com. So go check that out, and you can go explore more of what they do. Henrik, I'm going to give Jack and Stephen a quick chance to introduce themselves. Then we'll dive into your demo, and we'll bring Michael Hall, my other developer evangelist, in as well, because I know he has some questions about your demo. So let's start with you, Jack. Who are you? What do you do?
Hi everyone. Yeah, so my name's Jack. I am the senior segment marketing manager at ARM. So I started my career as an engineer, doing the silicon design, so which I was very proud of as being an engineer. But I decided to moving on to be more focusing on the marketing and business side. That's where I found interesting to me, because like basically you define what's the product, you show the vision where the technology can be. So that's where I find really interesting to me. So I moved to be a product manager at Western Digital. We make some great SSD product that I'm very proud of as well. I can actually purchase from a lot of different distribution channel, Best Buy. So that's great experience, but not something I can be as proud of being at ARM. So I was really enjoy working at ARM, because I know I'm at the forefront of innovation. So also that's why I'm here for innovation called Coffee. I'm so proud that I'm in the smart vision space, because I think Henrik and also Stephen will talk about more, but at the EVS, we hear so much about great ideas, and people are just enthusiastic about talking about the future of technology, how smart vision is going to help our lives. So I'm here today I'm really proud to show what we've been demo, and also answering any questions you may have.
Awesome.
Yeah,
thank you, Jack. Thank you very much. And last but not least, Stephen, you're up, and I see you're standing around your demo, which we'll get to in a minute, but let's just kind of get to know you first. So what's up?
Okay. My name is Stephen. Right now, I'm the senior product manager in ARM. My background is more toward computer vision and image processing. Everybody know right now is a hot topic, how to use AI, machine learning, combining all those technology, how to detect people, fog, space, all this. As for today, we can see many machine learning, artificial intelligence, this kind of technology that get into people's life. So good opportunity for us to introduce our technology to our YouTube channel. Good to talk to everyone today. Thank you.
Sorry, Stephen. I was adjusting your mic volume. Your mic was a little low, so I got distracted there. But yeah, no, it's all right, and that's awesome. And thank you very much. And we obviously got to meet at the Embedded Vision Summit. So for everyone else, awesome. So let's dive right into the demo. Hendrik, I want to get to know your demo a little bit. I would like our guests to get to know it a little bit. So why don't you tell us what you were showing off there at the Embedded Vision Summit?
Sure, I can do that. I have it here with me. I don't know if this is specifically the demo that I brought to Embedded Vision Summits, but it's the same board and it's the same functions. Let me turn this around so you can see it. So it has, let's see if I can orient this. There you go. Now you can see me in two separate screens at once. So essentially what the demo is, Aleph announced a family of product called Ensemble a while ago. And the Ensemble product line, this is actually the first kind of mass market silicon that features ARM's Cortex-M55 as well as the Ethos U55 MPU core as an accelerator for machine learning workloads. And we have set up the Ensemble family to be able to be used for essentially all of the big V-type use cases for machine learning. This is really a first in a microcontroller type platform. I'm going to put this down right now so I don't distract myself with it. But what we wanted to achieve with Ensemble was there's a lot of kind of interest for developers to adopt machine learning type technology in their embedded design. And I'm talking like deep embedded design, not the things that transmit all the data necessarily that they capture to the cloud for processing there, but devices that, sleep a lot, wake up for a short period of time, collect some data, and then they want to run the inferencing on that data as fast as possible on a battery, on the device itself, and only send the result back to the cloud. So you send very little data, you don't waste power on transmitting, receiving, and if it's a metered connection, you save a bunch of power that way as well. That has been working really well for kind of Cortex-M class devices for the vibration type use cases where the data is relatively sparse and kind of slow moving, and for some of the voice type applications. But when you get to the more advanced voice type use cases like natural language processing, for instance, and especially the vision use cases when you start actually operating on images, it gets very difficult for a standard MCU where you have to kind of do all this stuff linearly on a MCU core to be able to provide the compute resources to do the inference operation quickly. So that's why we designed the Ensemble family with the Ethos U55 so we could offload the networks onto that accelerator and just run through the inference operation as quickly as possible, and then give all the time that we save back to the system so that they can either do other things during that time, or what is the most popular option, to keep the device sleeping for as long as possible so that you get battery life back. And what we showcased at the Embedded Vision Summit is how we were able to take a YOLO model that has been trained to detect and track faces and just run that on this microcontroller. And remember, this is an MCU class device. This is not like a high-end multiple tera operations per second type platform that runs, on really big batteries and that costs hundreds of dollars per module. This is a traditional MCU, but we're still able to run this YOLO model to track and identify the faces at over 140 frames per second, which is unheard of in this class of device. And we've done a bunch of other things in Ensemble. So we don't just do the inferencing. We also do kind of the entire pipeline of, taking that image in through a camera interface, doing all of the ISP functions, storing everything in a buffer so that we can draw bounding boxes over it and all of that, prepare it to be output to a display. That display interface is integrated into the device. So essentially what we have in this particular solution that we showcased is for embedded control type system, it is a single chip pipeline for everything that has to do with, collecting the video data, inferencing, running inference operations on it, and then presenting it on a suitable surface. So I think it's a really cool demo. We had a lot of interesting traction with people attending the summit. And it's always fun to kind of be able to do this together with ARM because we use a lot of ARM technology. We're really grateful for the way that ARM has built an ecosystem around the things that we use because it lets our customers be productive sooner with, the products that we put out. So.
Yeah, it's funny because, awesome explanation, by the way, and it was a great demo. And thank you for being at the ARM booth for EVS. It's funny because your colleague who was there, I think his name was Steven too, right?
Yes, Steve Sharp was my colleague that was
Steve
there. We
Sharp.
kind of took turns staffing the demo.
Yeah, so he was saying that someone was showing a similar demo at another booth nearby, but they were only hitting like a dozen frames per second or something like that, where literally you can see the frames per second tick on there, right? So your demo definitely tops that by far, leaps and bounds. Now I want to bring in Michael Hall here, and Jack, Stephen, stand by because you're up next. Michael Hall, everyone, you all know Michael Hall. He's one of my co-hosts here, and we're going to keep you on from this point on. All right, Mike. But you have some questions for Henrik, right?
I do, yeah. So first of all, thanks for being on, Henrik. I'm really excited about these ensemble boards. Can you talk a little bit about what the performance gain is from having a dedicated NPU on the board as opposed to doing the same workload on just like a traditional CPU?
Yeah, I can talk about that. I mean, every duty cycle is different and every machine learning model is a little bit different depending on the data sets that you've trained it with. But we've seen, for instance, I can take an example based on an open source model that, is a lot of people that work with machine learning have been using. So they kind of have a contextual kind of idea of how that would perform. So we run a lot of demos using MobileNet V2 specifically on our device. And one data point is kind of when we compare the inference performance of a model like that trained on publicly available data set. I don't remember the exact name of the data set, but it had around 1,100 labels in it, something like that. That's what it was trained on to classify different types of objects. And if we run that model on one of our M55 cores, when it's clocked up at its full speed, it takes a little bit over 0.6 seconds for that core to compute one inference, which is might be passable for certain use cases. But you have to remember that when you do it that way, that core runs at 100% for that entire half a second of operation. And, that's going to eat away at your battery if you capture a lot of data. If I offload that model and run it on an Ethos U55 instead and have the core, either idle or, do something else or sleep, whatever, I can run the same inference in about 8 milliseconds. So it's a tremendous performance boost, right? And from memory, I don't remember the exact power numbers, but kind of if you look at that from a power efficiency perspective, that essentially brings the inference power consumption down from around 220 millijoules, or is it microjoules maybe, millijoules I think, down to 3. So just kind of think about that and think about on the battery life side, how much you get back, how much longer that this thing needs to be, can run without you needing to service it. I mean, if it's a security camera, it sits up by the ceiling. You don't have to get your ladder out for another 6 months to go up and replace the battery. Or you just put a smaller battery in it. You can offer the same battery life. And usually the battery is a significant chunk of the bill of material cost, for products like that. So it's definitely has the ability to not only make certain use cases for machine learning kind of more available for MCU class devices, but also to just improve on these use cases in general, make them smoother, make them more responsive, make the technology that leverages them more seamlessly integrated in the background. You do a voice command, you don't have to wait for 3 seconds to get a response anymore. The response is instantaneous. So
that's really cool. So as a software developer, if I'm building some machine learning applications, how do I take advantage of an NPU? Like, is there something specific I have to do, or do some of these frameworks automatically start using that hardware if it's available?
So ARM has collaborated very closely with Google when they developed the Ethos U technology, and we're very strong partners with both those companies as well. So we have a very straightforward, easy to use workflow for essentially integrating machine learning into these devices. If you have a model that has been developed using a TensorFlow framework, TensorFlow Lite, TensorFlow Micro, there's essentially a compilation stage where you turn that model into a binary representation that you then link together with your application. And then in your application, you just point the driver for the micro MPU to the model and tell it, here's the model, here's the data you're supposed to inference on, here's the memory you use for the operation, go, tell me when you're done. Then you get an interrupt and a result back from that operation. So it's very straightforward. We also work with a lot of partners that provide kind of end-to-end platforms for creating the model, training the model, uploading label training data, doing data labeling, and also being able to simulate accuracy and things like that. And then you can deploy for those environments directly to our boards. Like Edge Impulse, for instance, that you also saw at the EVS Summit. They're a good partner of ours to kind of have that turnkey, kind of low barrier of entry type solution. So there's a couple of different ways, but the workflow is really straightforward in terms of being able to run this stuff on our hardware.
All right, just one more question, the most important one for me. Where can I get one of these boards for myself?
So we work with Aero Electronics. They're our leading global distribution provider. You can find our boards in stock at aero.com. Just go there, search for Aleph Semiconductor. You'll see boards and device samples and all that goodies. Also visit our website, alephsemi.com. You will find data sheets on all of the different versions of the Ensemble products and all the different options that we have available there as well.
Fantastic. Robert, you're going to get another request for a hardware purchase from
Put it in the BOM. Put it in the bill of materials. I
Yep.
just shared the link for aero.com. There it is. And as Henrik mentioned, you can also go to Aleph Semi there as well. Awesome. That was it there, Michael. No more questions?
Yep. No more questions. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you, Michael.
No, thank you. Okay. So Jack and Steven, you're up. I'm guessing, Steven, you have the floor first?
Yes.
Okay.
So before we jump into our demo, let me just get a quick introduction of the background. So why we come up this demo to the audience? I think the important thing is traditionally when customers talk to us of ARM, they will say, "Oh yeah, I know ARM. They have really cool CPU technology. You have Cortex A, Cortex M, product family, all those things." They may know a little bit about, okay, we also provide other IP as well. For example, we have full system IP, we have full ISP or some other NPU. But for our customer, the important thing is how to let them really get a quick time to market, how for them to utilize all those ARM technology quickly to help him to really build up a cool product. That is something that we keep thinking about. What is our future? How we can help customers. So this is the background of this demo. This time we put together all those, I would say, fundamental or say very important ARM IP to really combine as a vision solution for our customer. For example, here is a smart vision, which means, okay, it's not only a camera, but also camera with computer vision capability. So I will start from this side. Actually, this is you will see a slide that we also show in the division summit. Basically, it goes to the IP in this demo and also the signal flow. So you can see here is the image sensor. Have the image sensor come into our ARM ISP, which is MODIC-55. And after those image signal processing, then goes to machine learning block, then also goes to ARM CPU. Then we start, there is shared memory to go to display pipe to output the image stream. So this is the high level how the image goes. Then we can go to the real demo side, which I will take this off to let you see more clearly what is this. So with this, this is the FPGA that we are using. So those important and fundamental IP that we just mentioned, ISP, CPU, which is Cortex A, 5335, and also like NPU, VPU stuff. Actually, right now is stay within on this FPGA. So again, the demo is basically a POC proof of concept to say, okay, we know right now machine learning, artificial intelligence, this kind of computer vision device basically will become everywhere, and we like to demo to our customer. You can just use ARM's IP with our help, then you can develop the right product for the market quickly. So you can see this is actually the input. We continue to play vehicle detection. To say this demo that we are showing is the after processing those models can detect the vehicle. This is a vehicle detection. So this one continue play that vehicle detection video, and then the signal goes, the image signal will go to the FPGA, which is in this big black box. After processing, then it goes to the monitor here, and you can see those. This is a box, funding box to show you that we detect those vehicles. So yeah, basically this is what we like to introduce to you. Customer can contact with us. Then we have those important, fundamental but very important IP to help you to make your product quickly and easily. So this is demo, but of course the message, our message is not only limited by this demo. And also, I think I will pass to Jack to introduce more from ecosystem, and also from there is a concept we call it software-defined camera, which is you can see right now. Okay, you have cool product, cool IP, you have cool software tool, all those things. But how do you really use it? I think the cloud service side, the service is an important factor for people can really use this kind of configuration into their life. So with that, I will pass that to Jack, give you a little bit more about SDC concept and also how those can really get into service side. For example, AWS, I just put an example here, and how this can impact people's life and also your product. Thank you.
Thanks, Stephen. Yeah, so let me start from the background why we're doing this, why we envision that, as Stephen said, cloud native smart camera will be the future. So think about that. Now you have a smart camera or video doorbell. You got a notification. You open your cell phone. You are able to see the streaming. Well, it's actually a lot of this all happen on the cloud. So the video from the camera, they detect it and do the processing, they send it to the cloud, so you are able to see even though you are not at home. So the cloud idea is already in our life, but actually there are a lot of more things that cloud is enable us to do. So particularly in the diagram that Stephen showed is actually is quite a focusing on the machine learning. As you know, the smart camera now, there are more computer vision they can do. So let me show you three things,
Jack,
three advantage.
I'm sorry for interrupting here, but real quick, if someone wanted to go check this demo out online, is there like a repository or a website that we could share?
Yeah, I can send the repository on our software-defined camera.
Okay, if you post it in the private chat, we can share it while you keep talking here. Cool.
Sure. Yeah. So three challenges or three advantages that. So for machine learning, now you hear about the idea, the hardware and software co-design. So the idea is that when you are developing the camera, you are not clearly sure that exactly what the model you are running, what exactly the hardware you're going to use. So the idea is to be able to start developing your machine learning model on the cloud while you don't have the hardware devices. So that's one of the key advantage of having, for example, the AVH model extracted, the ARM virtual hardware model extracting the platform on the cloud, so developer can start doing those developing while they are selecting the hardware. So, and actually it also enable the continuous update even after you deploy your machine learning model on the actual devices. So that's number one reason. And the number two is you to update the machine learning model with a very low downtime. Think about that. Your smart camera is going to run more application and running different kind of machine learning model. It will be beyond just people detection. It can be even detecting the stranger, detecting the cars, different models. But how do you manage to update different application and machine learning model without low downtime? You don't want your camera to be off for a couple of minutes just doing all those update, so you lose the security. But how do you manage that? So that's the idea of containerization. So that's also what ARM is envisioning. We provide a software stack to cover the containerization example. And lastly is to deploy at scale. So think about that. You have developed your software or hardware for single devices, but usually the smart camera, especially for the enterprise use case, they are deploying at thousands or even 10,000 at scale. How do you test and how do you manage the update automatically? So those are the key value of doing over the cloud. So that's the main reason why we collaborate with AWS to enable those services to be on ARM software-defined camera software stack. So that's the main value proposition of the whole ideas, and also that's what we see for the future.
Very well explained. Stephen, did you have any last things to add there?
Nope, I think that's cool.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, and so we'll make sure for anyone watching this on demand that the link to what they're talking about so you can get access to more information will be provided in the description below, so make sure you check that out. So real quick, I did ask you all if you could stick around because past Robert does have some more of the tour to go. So you all mind sticking around for a minute while we go through the rest of the tour? Good, thumbs up. All right,
Good.
Awesome. All right, back to you, past Robert. I understand you will be leaving the ARM booth to check out the rest of the showroom floor. Let's see what you got.
Hey, thanks again, Future Robert. Is it time? We're gonna do the walkthrough now. Okay, so as you can see, still at the ARM booth here. Let's just kind of give a little walkthrough. We'll kind of maybe hit a booth down that way, explore some of the other companies that are on the showroom floor, and talk a little bit about some of the tech that they're showing off here. So first, let's just do a quick scan down each one of these aisles. Analog devices. I think it's Siva. Not very familiar, or Basler. I'm familiar with Basler. We have Basler Siva, BDTI, and Sony. All right, big names. I was actually talking to some of the folks over here at this one from Lantronix. They're featuring some pretty interesting IoT solutions over here. This is the Lantronix booth. But you also have Flex Logix, Vera Silicon, Renesas over here, and it also looks like there is a Edge AI Vision Alliance booth. And I think I'm actually going to grab one of these stickers. This is for me. All right, and nice little place to hang out. It looks like if you need some support as a booth or sponsor, you can just go cruise on over there. It's just like walking through this. There's just so many amazing things being shown off. You know, I hope later on I'll have some more time. We'll see how much time you have, Robert, in the episode for me to. It's getting silly enough talking to myself in the future, but yeah, we'll see how much time you have for me to show off some of this cool stuff. But at least I wanted to give everyone the experience of being here. Synaptics right here. It doesn't look like they've set their booth up yet. I know yesterday, day one, it didn't kickstart until what was it, 12 o'clock, 12:30 in the midday, basically noon. Today it's starting at 10, and so I think maybe people aren't aware of that. VC, Vision Components. We have ARM Eye. Just some nice little interesting booth, and it looks like a Blaze. All right, cool. Can I have one of your beef jerkies? Yeah? Oh, thank you. All right, cool. Look, people are already putting snacks out here. I'm gonna take one of these right here. Thank you, thank you. The protein. We'll see. Yeah. All right, here we are at the NXP booth, and I actually want to send it back to you for a second before I dive into this one. Maybe you can tell me a little bit more about your experience since you were here, obviously, but maybe you can elaborate a little bit more on the things you saw. All right, we'll come back, or I'll be right back when you cue me in for the next one. I'd like to just kind of show off some of the cool stuff happening here at the NXP booth.
I can't remember if I actually showcased the NXP booth. I think they were doing some recording there and I wasn't able to, but I'm not going to talk too much more because I think past Robert's covering it pretty well, and we'll ask you all some questions to get some highlights. I think let's just move on to the next video, because we go cruising to the back area, because the expo hall had kind of all the big booths where, like, you had the main names, the big tech companies, but then if you cruise to the back, you had some of kind of the more smaller companies in the back, and this is where I'm headed right now. So let's check that out. Back to you, Pass Robert.
Okay, back at you. Just came over from Connect Tech Inc. right over here, where we should. Okay, thanks again. All right, we're back. Now, let's mosey on over to, I want to call this like the wing of the conference, because you kind of have like the main track all along this area here. And then when you come down this way, you get like the L shape to the conference, and this puts you in, I want to say, kind of more of like the grassroots area. You're finding a lot more either newer companies, startups, smaller booths, but a lot more kind of actual tech present at these booths. So like right here, Connect Tech Inc., I was talking with them on day one, and you can see they're showcasing the Jetson Orin Nano, the Jetson Orin AGX, and the Jetson AGX Xavier, as well as some of their vision solutions down here. This is pretty cool because they're taking the NVIDIA chipsets, they're putting them on their devices, and then they're providing really cool carrier solutions. So breakouts for these different SOMs and different devices, allowing for different peripherals and or development to happen. And yeah, boom, look at all this. Just loaded with tech along their space here. Got Ginger over here. Hey, Ginger. Ginger is an amazing person from Hackster. We hung out a lot on day one. All right, so let's get back to you in just a second while I find the next booth to explore. Back to you, Robert. Future Robert.
Nah, not much more from me. Let's just watch the last video here and knock it out. It was a lot of fun. I wish Ginger paid a little more attention to me when I was talking to her, but she didn't. So let's go just right back to you.
Okay, back at you. Just came over from Connect Tech Inc. right over here, where we showed off the NVIDIA Orin solutions, and now I just kind of moseyed on over to this Avesa booth, and I noticed that they had this really cool LiDAR device showing off. You can kind of see my movements there in the back, detecting me. I didn't really talk to them too much about their solution. I'll probably go back and talk to them a little bit more about that. But I guess true to form here at the Embedded Vision conference, pretty much every booth you walk by has a camera. You're just constantly being recorded. Here I am on this one, being recorded. There you see me right there. Ba-da-ba. And another cool company from co-founder Pete Warden over here. This is Useful Sensors. Let's just get a little snapshot of the pull-up banner they have here. Pull-up banner, very cool. I'll talk a little bit more about that, or future Robert will talk a little bit more about Useful Sensors. But again, I'm just kind of trying to give you a bit of a scope of the conference here. We have an interview we did with Jason Enslin from D3. We'll play that in just a moment, as well as a cool new, I want to call it educational program or consultancy through that specializes on OpenCV. And so had a chance to talk to these folks on day one, and I'll paint the picture. Future Robert will paint the picture of what those offerings are. In fact, I think we might try to bring some of that training to our ARM ambassadors in the developer program. Excuse me, sorry about that. Okay, so giving this last little turn over here, and then we'll head on back to the ARM booth in a moment. Just kind of get a last view of this, final aisle over here. It looks like Darcy, Vitus Systems, SunX, and Let's see what this last company over here in the end is. Darcy, and then General Plus Technology. Again, like I was saying, like every single booth is showing some form of vision technology. Embedded Vision Summit. So there you go. Very cool. Let's turn this corner right here, and we have Dragonfly and output LiDAR processing right over here. So do our best to kind of summarize everything we can, you know, coming out of these little snippets. Future Robert will do his best to kind of elaborate a little further on some of these technologies as best as he can. And yeah, hopefully this gives you kind of a little bit more of an experience. Oh, Jessica. Oh, hello. Hi, how are you?
Hello.
Jessica from Hackster. This is just a video that I'm going to play during my live stream next week.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so you can just
Hi,
say hi to
everyone.
everyone.
Go check out Hackster.io.
Hackster.io, you heard it. Yeah, cool. Awesome. All right, I'll see you later. Yeah. All right, well, there you have it. We ran into Jessica Tangeman from Hackster.io. She's actually the CEO over there at Hackster. Lots of cool stuff going on over there. And we'll also probably try to do some stuff with them later this year with developers. And as I make this last turn, we're back at the ARM booth and ready to showcase the developer program. All right, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this brief walkthrough of the Embedded Vision Summit showroom floor here in beautiful and sunny Santa Clara. Back to you, Future Robert. Close it out. Let's get those demos going. I know that we have some cool ones coming up. Y'all have a wonderful day.
Yeah, this guy put me on the hook for all these explanations and stuff. Who does he think he is? I mean, like, so yeah, I guess, you know, I recorded those things really not knowing what I was going to have time to do and whether or not I was actually going to remember what I said during those walkthroughs. But I mean, yeah, it was awesome. It was a lot of fun. Useful Sensors was a great booth. And they have some great tech. It looks like Tyeth actually posted something in the chat about it. You know, I would suggest exploring their website. They have some great documentation. You can go to usefulsensors.com if you want to check that out. I'll post that in the chat right now. And then regarding the OpenCV academia program that they have, or I want to call it, what would it be? Kind of certification that you can go take. They have a whole course you can take. I think it's $999. You get a slew of resources and everything you need to kind of become an expert at OpenCV. And what else did I say that I was going to do? Oh, we were going to show the demos after that video. We ended up deciding showing them, you know, while we were at the ARM booth. So there you go. So I think last but not least, I want to answer some questions here from the chat, and then I want to get your input on what your experience was from the event. So let me open the comments from the chat real quick. And Tyeth is asking, do Sony use ARM IP? Any chance it's the new Pi 5? So I'm going to pull up a picture here real quick because they do use ARM IP, at least to my knowledge, in a lot of their stuff. And from what I recall, it is, they have something called, I'm going to pull up the, I took a picture of it, the Spresense or Spresense. That's kind of like their line of boards or their boards that they have. And you can go check that out. I'll type it here as well. It's spelled Spresense. So Sony have kind of their developer boards that you can go check out. And I would imagine that, you know, all of their kind of consumer products are, you know, most likely ARM based. And then answering your next question. So here we go. Useful Sensors is a great one. Is that ARM IP? Their $10 person sensor fits most people's needs for simple camera presence detection. He is talking about this one right here, and I'm going to post that in the chat as well. I'm not sure. I can't answer that question honestly, whether they use ARM IP or not. Though I would imagine they do because there's mentions of Raspberry Pi kind of all over their documentation and stuff. So if that says anything, you can go check that out there and go explore their documentation. And thanks for the questions, Tyeth. Appreciate it. So let's just go in order here. We'll start with you, Henrik, again. Highlight, if you were to pick kind of one thing that you wanted to highlight about EBS that someone might say, oh, that's cool, I want to go next year, what would be your one thing?
Well, I think one thing, I guess it's not quite a highlight, but I think it's really interesting. It's what really stood out to me this year compared to other years where I've been at this particular show. Is so, and you kind of alluded to it in what past Robert, I guess, was saying when he was walking the floor. It is the Embedded Vision Summit. There's cameras everywhere. But the thing that I noticed this year is that it's not just cameras everywhere. I don't think that I saw a single booth that didn't have some type of, AI machine learning type angle to go with those cameras. And I think it's really interesting because you kind of look at where that show used to be, and it used to be a lot about kind of the embedded camera technology and the optics and people making modules and things like that. But now it has ballooned to be this thing that also involves a huge part of the software ecosystem to show well, now that you've been able to capture this video data, here is a whole bunch of interesting things that you can do with that, and try mapping that to various use cases, etc. So it makes me really happy because I'm kind of, I want that part of the technology to be more commoditized, if you will, right? To be kind of, to make what you can do with machine learning and video together to be something that normal developers with standard tools, standard workflows can be able to work with. So I think that was really cool. And just kind of seeing, how everybody was not just capturing video, was able to use it kind of to resolve a use case, improve on a use case, things like that. I thought that was really nice. And I can't imagine that we'll see any less of that next year. So if you have an interest in that type of technology, definitely seek out the show. It's an excellent showcase for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and you pretty much nailed it there, right? And who was front and center, like right there in the expo hall? You had Edge Impulse, right? So they were essentially showcasing the fact that AI ML is making its way and creating an impact and creating a difference in terms of these IoT devices and embedded, right? So very, very well said, Henrik. Let's go with you, Stephen. What would you say was your kind of top highlight of the event?
Yeah, just like as you mentioned in your video, you saw the camera everywhere, and Henrik mentioned you saw like every camera right now with different level of AI and machine learning capability inside that small camera. That's very exciting. I would, based on that, to extend that a step further, is I would say right now we can see more and more ecosystem collaboration between different partners, especially for ARM. For example, we have partners, for example, Alip joining us today. And also we have other partners as well who handle the software, who handle from the tool side, the tool chain, and also other silicon partners. So yes, camera everywhere. And then we can see all camera with different level of machine learning capability. And we also see from this event this time is different companies have different expertise in different aspects. We see more and more collaboration between all these companies, and we can really roll out a good product for all the customers to really impact people's life. I think look around you, not only in this event, look around your house, look around where you work, there's camera with different kinds of machine learning capability. And what we do here is really able to impact people's future, to impact people's life. I think that's really cool by joining this event and to understand how all different companies they can possibly to work together. That's really cool.
Very well said as well, Stephen. Tech and cameras everywhere. And I like your mention about ecosystem. When I think ecosystem, I think community, right? Or a community of communities, which is very nice. And you're absolutely right. People are coming together. The tech stack is somewhat unifying in that they're all kind of helping each other and collaborating. And very well said. Yep. Jack, did they take them all from you?
They take most of my idea. No, I think it's just I think that's definitely the highlight. So the use cases. So it's not about just like be able to detect the person. If you go around, you'll be able to see more ideas across different industry. ranging from transportation, traffic detection, and then you also will hear other people talk about and showcasing how they're utilizing in industrial. So definitely, I think it's this the use case of the smart vision is just booming, and then next year will definitely will be more. But I think in addition to that, I also think as someone, if you are looking for idea, you should also check it out, because once you get it, you realize there are so many problems that people are trying to solve, that if you just being like by yourself, you'll never be able to realize there's so many opportunity you can engage within this machine learning um, trend. So I think next year, if you go there, you'll see more use cases, you'll see more cool ideas, more problem solving things. So that will be my take. Yeah.
And I think most importantly, you'll see Steven, Jack, and Henrik, right? Hopefully we'll all be there. Maybe Michael and myself as well. Yeah, awesome. Jack, very well said as well. And thank you very much. Yeah. So Michael, any last words here? Because I'm about to close this out.
Some serious FOMO after watching these demos and seeing that walkthrough that I didn't get to go to Embedded Vision this year. So yeah, I think next year definitely I would like to go to that one.
All right, maybe we'll swap out. I'll go to one of the events you went to, and you can go to this one. We'll see.
Sounds good. You can come out to Atlanta. I'll go out to there.
Okay, all right, deal. So Henrik, Steven, Jack, I want to thank you all very much for joining us. An hour is a very valuable amount of time, and we really appreciate you spending it here with us. So thank you very much. All of the links that were shared throughout this episode, we'll make sure that they get posted in the description below. I'll ask you real quick if you wouldn't mind just hanging out in the green room while I close this out, and I'll see you in just a second. Is that all right?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Okay, I'll see you all in a second. Michael, I'll see you in a minute, all right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's close this out. Okay, well, that was a pretty fun episode. I never did anything like that before myself, and given this whole journey through an expo hall. I thought it was fun. I think that if I do it a little more, I'm looking at Gabe over here. Hey, our producer. Let's see if we get a shot of him. He's hiding. Yeah, but maybe if I do it a little more, maybe it could be fun and also slightly entertaining, and I might get better at it. We'll see. But thank you all very much for joining. Whether you're watching this live or on demand, we appreciate your time as well. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it. Also, subscribe to the ARM Software Developer YouTube channel, because we do these live streams every single week, every week, Thursdays at 5 p.m. UTC. Here we are doing these live streams with interesting and fun guests, experts in their fields, showcasing amazing things on ARM tech. I want to say, I'm looking at Gabe, because right after this episode, what we're going to be doing is we're going to head over to our new studio. We actually signed our lease about a week or two ago, and today is the date that we get to move in. So we're upping the production value, getting out of my garage, and actually getting a nice studio with a legitimate desk and setup and microphones, and it's going to be amazing. So stay tuned, because we do look forward to bringing you higher production values and more amazing episodes. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.